Good afternoon. Today is the 18th of January, 2019. I have to be deliberate when I say the year still, because we're only 18 days into it, and I said 2018 so many times in 2018. There was one video I made in 2019 when I accidentally said, here we are in 2018. Told you the story the other day of the Jehovah's Witnesses that I came into contact with who were getting ready to. I mean, they were all kind of like looking at me like I was a clown or something, and the irony is that that's how I see them. So what I said when I was ready for them, as I told you before, and when the guy says to me, "What are you doing wearing shorts? It's so cold. What are you doing? It's too cold for shorts." And I had long johns underneath, for crying out loud. My legs were not exposed, clearly covered, and there he was wearing no hat on his head, probably 24 degrees out or less. I was on the way to the movie theater, and rather than react to his ridiculous remark about my attire, I looked him as I kept walking, and then I stopped, and they turned around, and I looked right at him. And they all have goofy grins on their faces. They all their immaturity was transparent. Their lack of transcendence, transparent. Their lack of internalization or any kind of integration of the Christ teaching, which they are supposedly trying to convert people to, was apparent to me. As one who uses all three of the eyes and realizes that these two are linked up to the one within. The ones that look out are connected to the one that looks within and that is within, in the mid-L of the brain. That's why Jesus says, Matthew 6:22, when your eye be single, your body is filled with light. He's telling you to practice the single eye of meditation, of turning within and looking within, instead of being dominated by the outward eyes, which are so subject to lies. So I looked right at him and I said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, which is what Jesus says in Luke. Seek ye first. He says that to the 12 who are sitting around him, wondering what the hell to do. The 12 of apostles. Just a coincidence, though, that the sun in the sky that goes through the 4 seasons and has 12 months and 12 houses of the zodiac, and you got 12 tribes of Israel. But that's just a coincidence, right? That he's got 12 apostles, and then you look at the word apostle, it has that silent T in there, which makes it the word post of el, apostle. A is the alpha, aleph, turn it upside down, it's the horns, capital A of the bull god, aleph in Phoenician, Hebrew, alpha in Greek, of the alpha, beta, alphabet, the letter A. Krishna says, I am the letter A. Christ says, I am the Alpha and Omega in Revelations of the religions, worshippers of the sun, one God, one moon, one God, one day, one night, the two of the Tao of the one. And what did the ignorant Jehovah's Witnesses do when I said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven? It said nothing. Their stupid grins sort of started to wipe away, I think, if I remember correctly. Happened very fast. And there were 3 of them, all, eager, young, white Jehovah's Witnesses in their suits and with their books and their bags. I think they had bags. I know they had the books. I think the books were in the bags. So I said after when there was no response to seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, I could have just kept walking on. I could have not said anything too, right? Could have completely ignored him, but I wanted to have some fun. Yeah, so they didn't say anything, so I said, "Where is it?" And they didn't know what it was, what I was referring to. One of the kids said, "What in the Bible?" And I said, "The kingdom of heaven, where is it?" He says right where it is. But all I said was, "Where is it? Where is the kingdom of heaven?" And nothing at all. No answer. So I just said, "Read the book." And I told them they are false prophets or, imposters making a claim to having a connection to Christ or Krishna when they have none whatsoever. They would, be offended if you, or, laugh at you if you told them Christ is Krishna, even if you showed them how. Most of them. All we're dealing with is levels of maturity and development and awareness and consciousness with, believers and non-believers alike. I take neither believer nor non-believer position. I believe when it makes sense, and I disbelieve when it does not. And I am no one and I'm nothing. I know it sounds like perhaps there's a little, that's deadly sin of pride in me, right? With the wanting to show up the ignoramuses, but it's also, it looks to me to be time that it's past due to speak up. As I've read now, shared the quote from Thoreau 3 days in a row, from his civil disobedience and other essays. It's a terrible thing. I'm not laughing at this, what I'm going to tell you, but that most men live lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. The song meaning, their heart's song, I would say, right? Their, whatever it is that you, like that what is that song by John Mayer, right? Say what you need to say. And that other one that I mentioned this morning, that one about the father, the saying to your father, telling your father how much you care and how much you love him, or your mother, or whatever, in the living years. I wish I could have told him in the living years, say it loud, say it clear, you can listen as well as you hear. Who knows? Look at these clouds. The cumulus clouds will have a false look to them now too. All of it's been geoengineered, everything, and this is the terrible truth of what we're facing now, is that we get a 360 engineered Earth, 360, every single conceivable Earth, so-called reality, illusion reality, right and left, is engineered, is infused with, that rock was getting cold. It's all infused with the artificial. And things have been very confused. And like this weather right now, it's like, I don't know, 34 degrees, but it's just, it doesn't feel, it's odd to me. Like it doesn't, when it gets really cold, I can feel the fakeness of it. And same with the, in the extremes of the fluctuations in the climate, and no one would dare walk out onto this right now. Look, that's not nearly frozen enough, and here we are. It's like it's January 18th, and so most years this would be well frozen over, and we would have had, in recent years now, there's been significant snowfall before this date, or maybe it's like some years are right around this time. I would suspect that soon this area will be getting an engineered snowstorm. that they're working on that. If the conditions are even possible for it, maybe the heating in the upper strata is so great now that they're having a lot of trouble engineering snowstorms for this northeast, perhaps. I know that I heard there were people talking about this when I went to get breakfast early this morning. The people at the shop were talking about how there had been predicted a dusting of snow that was going to be on the ground this morning, and there was none. And they had the parking lot there on Paradise Road in Swampscott prepared, all salted for a snow that never came. That could be by design too. It could be that they deliberately give wrong forecasts or schedules and to keep people on their toes, thinking that there's still an unpredictability with it. It's all whenever please don't misunderstand me ever if I chuckle or at an inappropriate time or something like that. I'm aware of the gravity of the situation and the severity, and I am sincerely involved and concerned in all of this, and I'm not a sociopath, psychopath, or whatever, and who doesn't give a shit about nihilist or whatever, But all the tagging and labeling of oneself in general is overkill to the nth degree these days. It's just, it's the big wedge, and everything's so confused and muddled, and people are so, fixed on their particular egoic paradigm, their particular mold, shape of their mindset. See Krishnamurti's videos and talks all about that. I think he's great. Like I said, I'm not a devotee of any guru or system. However, I have a lot of respect for those who turn away from groupthink and are straight up and tell you that truth cannot be contained in any particular system or belief, and people who discourage you from signing up for and being a joiner of these religious organizations of any kind, because they're all little boxes. Then they're all, as Joseph Campbell, the mythologist from religious studies professor, and Jung would say too, that they are all equally right, but they all become equally wrong once they start making exclusive claims and start saying that their name of God and their idea and image of God is superior to the other guy's, and that I have to fight that other guy because of this issue. And they fight each other over their particular images, which are cultural and inherited, pre-conditioned. So I'll continue making the videos, and I'll continue reading from Osho. Even though I'm not a devotee, I'll continue valuing his thinking, his synthesyncretic thinking, and I will continue valuing, those who are committed to helping in the fight to free humanity from the chains of ideology, from the prison of prepackaged beliefs and claims to ownership and false love. There's a big one that was in the article that I read yesterday about the seven empowering lessons of Jiddu Krishnamurti. The end of it was goes into a little bit about the about how authentic love does not involve itself with ownership. It's free.